Life is like a novel. It's filled with suspense. You have no idea what's going to happen until you turn the page. Keep turning your pages and enjoy the thrill of life.
Well, a beautiful Monday morning, one that appears as though it's part of a long weekend. I hope you are well. I hope you've had an incredible weekend and you're set to face the week with so much positivity. That's what we are all about right here on Morning Cafe. My name is Linda Alela. It's good to have you as I look forward to, take you through what is happening in the world of news, the state of the nation. We look at matters health and we just look at what the papers detail and most importantly, what it is that my team has prepared. It's always good doing this with you and I look forward for us to have a very good show all the way. Karibu sana. Make sure that you're part and parcel of the conversation. Hashtag Morning Cafe at Linda_Alela TV 47KE 22047 is our SMS short code. You can drop your comments on those platforms. We get to sample them as we continue. Tell us what is happening around you, even as we tell you what is happening in the world of news, where you are, where it is that we are, and across board. We are looking forward to a great day tomorrow. That is Madaraka Day, but at a point also where we, of course, mourn the loss of Kibwezi, and that is a former Kibwezi Member of Parliament, Kalembe Ndile, and of course what he used to call himself, the squatter's child who rose to become Member of Parliament. And yes, we say may his soul rest in eternal peace as we continue to condole with the friends, family and the people of Kibwezi and so much more. We'll also be looking forward to see what plays out in President Uhuru Kenyatta's tour that is in Kisumu as of yesterday. We're expecting the President of Burundi and so much more that is likely to play out in Kisumu ahead of this incredible session that will be celebrated tomorrow. That is on Madaraka Day. We'll be having a special session tomorrow, so make sure that you do not run away from Morning Cafe. We'll be speaking to veterans who will tell us their memories of what they make of the general celebrations of Madaraka Day. Today we also have, a great show outlined for you. We have great pundits that will help us decipher on what it is that we speak of, that is when we talk of matters, state of the nation. Dr. David Nyekorach Matsanga, the chairperson of Pan-African Forum, will be with us this morning. Kassim Tandaza, who's a member of Parliament, Matuga, will be with us. We're expecting Zack, but then again, he's out on assignment, but we'll also have Wakili Kibe joining us on that. And also later on, we'll be having Dr. Ignatius Kibe on matters health. So indeed, quite a huge moment expected right here, and therefore we'd love for you to be part and parcel of this. First things first, we look at what the papers detail. Front page of the Daily Nation as captured right there on the front or on the screen. Handshake anticlimax amidst symbolic train ride by President Uhuru Kenyatta and Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga from Nakuru to Kisumu. Incomplete development projects and a dark cloud of COVID-19 pandemic dampen the mood ahead of Madaraka Day activities. A story captured on page 4. Remember, we're all about the politics of development. Just how much will Kisumu realize in terms of development, and just how realistic are we when we speak about this historically? We know that we've seen presidents, we've seen leaders going into this region, of course, posing as though they would want to take development down there, but all that has been looked at as, what has been of a political connotation, and in most cases you find that amidst all these promises they do not end up getting the benefits that have been promised. And so we look at that and we discuss extensively on what the people of Kisumu are said to benefit, and of course we'll have that and so much so. And yes, we'll be having these celebrations that are expected, and of course they'll be marking a memorable chapter that is in our history. Disquiet in Ruto camp and Madaraka fate hijacked. Yes, well, Deputy President William Ruto said to found us some more on that, and I don't know why I am missing out on this, but all the same, yes, we come back to that. But yes, it's equally the same story that has been captured on the front page of the Standard newspaper. And because I have the hard copy and we also have them, or that paper on screen, we stick to the Daily Nation. Yes, disquiet in Ruto camp as Madaraka feat hijacked, but will not, that is Deputy President William Ruto is set to attend the feat, but will not participate in the launch of projects that is in that region, his office said. And some of his allies say that the DP has been sidelined in preparations for the state function. Fresh fears as new strain of COVID-19. Vietnam is struggling to deal with fresh outbreak across more than half of its territory, and such is what the global fraternity is struggling with. We went to see what, of course, speaks of this, and amid our industrial zones and big cities such as Hanoi and Ho Chi, more than about 6,700 cases, including 47 deaths, have been reported in the country, or in that particular country. Well, a majority of them since April. That is a story captured on page 10, and we'll be looking at that as we continue with the broadcast. And well, we'll be having so much of this. New literature and Fasihi set books are said to be announced. The Education Ministry is set to announce new English literature and Fasihi set books amid disquiet in the publishing over tendering and evaluation of bids. This, of course, will get students a bit worried and skeptical, but we can only wait to see how best then they handle the same to avoid scenarios of confusion. On matter safety, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew extended for 60 more days. In a special Gazette notice, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i on Friday extended the curfew for 60 days. The previous order expired on Saturday. That is a story captured on the back page of the Daily Nation, and so much more new literature and Fasihi. Also, that is a story captured on the back page. So much happening in the world of sports. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. And to that one of the Standard newspaper, show of might as Uhuru tour starts. President Kenyatta landed in Kisumu accompanied by more than 15 cabinet and principal secretaries to launch projects in the region ahead of Madaraka Day celebrations in the city, and that is tomorrow. So we'll be looking at this politics that is being played here, as many would want to call it, politics of development. But is it the case? Yes, we can only wait to see. The question is just how many regions have to wait for such games, or for the handshake, or generally such agreements across, or different, or between different leaders, so that at least their regions are able to realize the developments that are set. Most of the people, crying foul in regards to the same, but equally the people of Kisumu somehow celebrating this move based on the goodies that they are expecting. The squatter who fought for the landless national, that is a story captured page 8, that is upon the demise of Kalembendile, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Why they killed to settle scores, and also that's a story captured. We also do not forget what has been playing out at the Capedo Triangle and all these other regions that continue to face animosity, that is triggered, amongst themselves. And banks are Ethiopia's big market, and we also have seen that is in like to business that the likes of Safaricom are trying to find their way into the space of Ethiopia. Just how instrumental would that be? We can only wait to see. And Muturi sparks power struggle in Mount Kenya. The conversation is on upon the coronation of Muturi, as the Mount Kenya spokesperson. True rival camps, Mount Kenya West and Mount Kenya East, are pulling in opposite directions in a region at a crossroads, with President Kenyatta retiring next year and not clear favorite yet to take up the mantle. A story captured on page 6 and 7. Chopper crashes after dropping Right Honorable Raila Odinga. There was a scare yesterday when a helicopter that dropped Right Honorable Raila Odinga at President Kenyatta's event, that is in Siaya, crashed. A passenger was injured, as captured on page 3 of the Standard newspaper. Gangs or police? Who is killing these men? Well, based on established pattern in recent months, human rights crusaders fear a resurgence of a killer police squad similar to the one code named Kwekwe. That's a story captured on page 12. If you've read so much into this history and all that, then you could be understanding what Kwekwe has been or what it was all about and how dangerous then as good it was emanating from the forces. One that, of course, then begs to probably challenge what we have all known in terms of having a peace and having the police service taking care of the people. Like we said, we're all about the talks of what plays out in Nyanza region as we await to celebrate Madaraka Day tomorrow. The big story captured on page 2 of the People Daily equally and also generally on the front page. Why Uhuru's Kisumu tour is a turning point. Well, for many years, Nyanza region was viewed as a stronghold of Kenya's opposition politics, but the handshake between the president and Raila has ushered in a new chapter of development. A story captured on page 4. We'll be looking at that. Panic as Right Honorable Raila Odinga's plane crashes. Countrywide COVID-19 curfew extended by 60 days till July that is 29, and lockdown looms in Lake Basin as curfew extended, and concern over rising cases of COVID-19 in Kisumu comes as the city hosts this year's Madaraka Day celebration. We'll be looking at that. And to this unfortunate occurrence, family of abducted soldier in hands of militia cries for help. The family of abducted KDS soldier Gershom, that is Wanyonyi, whose photo and clip went viral, that is the better part of last week, on social media, narrating his suffering in the hands of Al-Shabaab militants at El Arde in Somalia, that is in January 2016, has appealed to President Uhuru Kenyatta to intervene and secure his release. Well, we'll be following up on this to get you details in the event that, they get to reach our desks. While Uhuru sets for Nyanza tour, we'll be looking at that as we proceed with the broadcast. And that notation of Muturi. Muturi says he backs move for Mount Kenya party, and a coronation of National Assembly Speaker has sparked off bickering among politicians vote Ridge region. More or less the same stories. Witi and Farm ex-member of Parliament Kalembe Ndile eulogized by all. May his soul rest in eternal peace. That is on the next page, page 6 of the People Daily. These are the key stories that we'll be looking at. Pandemic wiped out millions of jobs in 5 months. Well, this is according to a study, and it's quite unfortunate that, well, most of these people, or most of the people who've lost their jobs, have to experience these tough times, as we all hope that the government is capable of, cushioning a majority of them. Medics raise alarm over rising shortage of HDU beds in Homa Bay. Also, the Nyanza region is not having it all rosy. That is in regards to COVID-19 and generally other tough conditions that have been in existence. Well, that is in the country. And generally, the state is blamed for the same. As you can see, Seth Panyako right there as pictured, that is speaking of how it has been tough for the nurses and generally the health sector. Woman in Amazon's camp is revered by councillor, and well, as you can see, according to detectives, Marie Parker, who was found in possession of 50 million, is a distinguished councillor. Well, a suspect who was nabbed at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, that is in Nairobi, has been working as full-time counsel dealing with mental health in Houston, that is United States. Stacey Marie Bakable, 50. Well, the director of Behavioral Health American Group also is one that was named amongst the individuals that got very many Kenyans and a majority of people, just investing their monies in this Amazon scam kind of project. And most of the people have cried foul after officially that account went off. And Stacey Marie Parker has been named as that individual who was behind the money laundering, computer fraud activities, of obtaining cash from people or from individuals without any returns as expected. NMS to list rental houses tenants in bid to boost revenue. That's more like it. We have so much that has been captured on the papers, and we'll be looking at more or less the same. That is later on alongside my guests, and we look at a different conversation altogether. What is happening on the roads? I'll keep you up to tabs as we continue. But first, let's pick these stories that have been worked on by my team. And President Uhuru Kenyatta has broken his silence over the beleaguered BBI process, whose fate now hangs in the balance after the High Court declared the process unconstitutional, null and void earlier this month. Speaking in Siaya in his first day over 3-day tour of the Nyanza region, President Uhuru Kenyatta has expressed optimism that the BBI process will prevail in the courts and that a BBI referendum will be held before next year's general elections. In the backdrop of the High Court ruling, the proponents of the bill have since appealed the ruling at the Court of Appeal, with the Appellate Court President Daniel Musinga expected to convene a bench.
BBI haisaidii Raila na familia yake. BBI haisaidii Uhuru. BBI ni ya kusaidia wananchi wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, kuhakikisha ya kwamba wananchi mashinani wanapata haki yao, isipojali ni serikali gani ambayo itakuweko. Tunaelewana wenzangu? Tunaelewana wenzangu? Ni ya kulete haki kwa kila Mkenya. Na ndipo nawauliza kwa heshima kubwa, jameni, mukubali, mujitokeze, muiunge mkono. Yale ambayo yako mbele yetu tutatatua, mimi najua.
Sasa sisi tulikubaliana, tunataka kuleta mabadiliko ya kudumu kusaidia wananchi wa Kenya, na tukaleta kitu naitwa BB. Wangapi wanaunga mkono BBI? Neno kwa mkono. Tunasema nobody can stop. Nobody can stop.
Well, we ponder on that later on as we proceed. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta's 3-day working tour of the Nyanza region began Sunday afternoon in Siaya county, that is in Siaya County, where he launched and commissioned several development projects. The president is also expected to hit more ground running on Monday in the rest of the lakeside counties, among them Migori, Kisumu, and Homa Bay, with his visit set to culminate in the Madaraka Day celebrations that will take place at Kisumu County. That is Tuesday. Our reporter David Mudoka reviews the head of state's itinerary at the Nyanza region.
For the 5th time since the famous 2018 handshake at the doorsteps of Harambee House between President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM boss Raila Odinga happened, Nyanza will be playing host to the head of state, who is on a 3-day working tour of the lakeside region. The tour, which is set to climax in the Madaraka Day celebrations at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Kisumu County, will see the president launch various developmental projects in the entire Nyanza region. Upon touching down on Sunday afternoon, President Kenyatta made Odinga's Siaya backyard his first stop, where he made good his promise to make the visit a fond one for residents by launching various projects, among them the Kodiaga to Agai Road project and the Siaya to Bondo Water project in Yala.
Barabara ambao wananchi wa sehemu hii wameitarajia kwa muda mrefu, barabara ambayo itaunganisha vile Raila Omolo amesema section yote mbili ya game. Hakuna sasa mambo ya shida ya watu majirani kukosa kutembeleana kwa sababu barabara imekatika kwa sababu ya mvua na mambo mengine.
Hot on the heels of the several launches in Siaya, the president will resume his tour to the rest of Nyanza counties, accompanied by various leaders, among them Raila Odinga, where he will launch more projects. Some of the projects earmarked for launching and groundbreaking in Kisumu, Homa Bay and Migori counties will include the revitalization of the 3 billion shilling Kisumu Port, Uhuru Business Park and Marketing Complex, Simu Inland Container Depot, Lake Basin Mall, and the revival of the Kisumu-Nakuru Railway. Others are the commissioning of the Korusoin multi-purpose dam, Muhoroni to Mamboleo Road project, and a bailout appeal to revive the operations of the Sony Sugar Company. During his visit, the president is also expected to commission an inland container depot at Kibos, as well as the revamped Jomo Kenyatta Sports Complex.
Huyu ndugu yangu Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta, tangu tuliposalimiana na yeye amesimama kidete.
Na kutoka wakati ambapo tulisema ya kwamba tutaunganisha Wakenya, ndugu yangu amesimama kidete, tumesaidiana na tutaendelea kusaidiana. Hata tukiangalia siku za usoni tutakuwa tukiangalia pamoja, na ndio Wakenya wawe kitu kimoja. Mwataka hivyo ama mwataka namna gani?
The tour of the two handshake brothers comes amid fears of Cold War in the handshake and is expected to cement the handshake grip. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Thank you, David, for that. Now, a section of lawmakers are in the race to salvage the BBI process through a parliamentary route. Now, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, however, says the move must be hastened if the country is to realize constitutional amendments before the 2022 polls, as Paul Kirobi reports.
National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi says it is possible for the amendment of the Constitution through the House. Muturi, however, called on the promoters of the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 to move with speed in their latest move to salvage the BBI bill.
Pendekezo gani mko nayo for 90 days? Kwa hivyo ndio nasema kama wanataka hivyo lazima wakimbie, wafanye kwa haraka.
There are reports of a plan to spearhead minimum reforms ahead of next year's general election. Bipartisan MPs have already identified at least 10 items that are non-controversial in the BBI bill that will be pursued through a parliamentary route.
Mimi nimeomba bunge la Kenya, viongozi wa chama zote, chama kubwa kama ODM, Jubilee, chama ndogo kama KANU, Obarahire, na kuna hii Wiper, wote tushirikiane, kwa sababu katiba ya Kenya inakubali mabadiliko ya katiba kwa njia mbili, kupitia bunge na kupitia kwa wananchi.
The lawmakers have formed a caucus to push law reforms ahead of next year general elections. The 13-member caucus includes, among others, Siaya Senator James Orengo and his Makueni and Meru counterparts Mutula Kilonzo and Mithika Linturi, respectively. Rarieda MP Otiende Amolo and his Gatundu South counterpart Moses Kuria. Others are Senators Johnson Sakaja, Aaron Cheriot, Sakwa Bunyasi and Cecily Mbarire, among others. However, a section of BBI promoters have opposed the parliamentary route.
Sina kesi ingine, ukiweka Ijara constituency, ukiweka Wajir South, mimi niko hapo kusukuma BBI.
Parliament and the Senate, and it was approved there unanimously. And we cannot go back to Parliament for BBI. We want to go to court. Our lawyers are ready to prove that that was wrong. And there is no any other way other than popular initiative supported.
The proponents of the bill have already appealed the High Court ruling at the Court of Appeal, with the appellate court President Daniel Musinga expected to convene a bench that will hear and determine the case.
Niliona wanajaribu kusema mambo ya wabunge wakuwe ndio mawaziri. Unajua sio lazima hata iko hivyo. Hata wale wabunge wale mawaziri wako leo ni kipengele kidogo tu.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has expressed optimism that the BBI process will prevail in the courts. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
A few days after the coronation of National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi as Mount Kenya spokesman, a section of leaders from marginalized East Mount Kenya region have called for the formation of a political party with Muturi as a possible candidate to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta, that is next year. But a section of Gemma elders claim they will not discuss succession politics with Muturi.
For the first time in years, the Embu, one of the Gema communities in Mount Kenya region, will be at the helm of the region's leadership if National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi's coronation will be accepted in the region. Muturi was coronated as the mountain spokesman on Saturday last week, and a section of political commentators argue that the event had the blessings of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Muturi's rise to power has awakened the desires of the marginalized East Mount Kenya region to try a shot at the presidency, confirming fears that Muturi could be a possible candidate to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta in the 2022 presidential election.
Mheshimiwa Kiraitu alikaa kwa upinzani miaka 10. Alipotoka kwa upinzani sikujua itakuwa namna gani mambo ya Mungu. Ni mimi na mimi nikajitumbukiza kule. Tulikuwa na Uhuru, Uhuru akawa kiongozi wa upinzani na mimi nikawa kiranja wa upinzani. Kwa hivyo kati yangu na Kiraitu tunajua umuhimu wa kuwa ndani ya serikali.
A section of leaders from the east of the mountain have called for the formation of a party to spearhead the region's interest at the negotiating table, alluding to the revival of Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi's Alliance Party of Kenya APK.
Politics is a horse race. You can't go to a horse race without a horse. Ukiwa unatembea na miguu, what are you doing in the horse race? So we have to have our own horse.
We need not feel like orphans as people of Meru, as people of Upper Eastern. Time has come for us tuweze kujumuika na wengine at the national level.
Ni kama watu wa Meru wamesema wako tayari uunde basi ingine, uunde meli wa abiria wako. Sisi tukiwa watu wa Meru kama abiria tuko tayari.
This has however split the region, with the east comprising of Embu, Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties against the vote-rich Mount Kenya West, which comprises of the counties of Murang'a, Kiambu, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Nyandarua, Laikipia na Nakuru.
Sisi tunajua Muturi ni spokesman wa Mount Kenya. Hakuna story mbili wala nini. Na katika Mboma tunaweza fanya kitu inaitangwa merry go round. Wewe unaweza kuwa chairman leo, kesho ni yule, kesho kutwa ni yule mwingine.
Sasa tulikuwa over 60 years tunasupport Mkikuyu, akiwa anaongoza hii anapewa Mutirima, anaongoza. Kwani sasa tukichukua uongozi, kwani kumeleta shida kwa nini?
Sasa tumesema Mount Kenya East iko katika Mount Kenya, na sasa tumemrequest kama vile Mungu amemchagua kama Daudi ama Joshua, muweze kumsupport ndio aweze kutuongoza sisi.
Several leaders eyeing the top seat next year, including Deputy President William Ruto, have been courting the vote-rich mountain, further plunging the region into a political dilemma on who to rally behind in 2022.
Kuna watu wanaitwa impositors, wanaimpose na wafanyii president kazi, lakini wengine kwa sababu wako juu superficially wanamwambia ni zizi tuko.
Lakini tumepotea, hatunjui pande ni gani, hatunjui tuingie hii pande ingine, tuingie hii pande ingine, tuko mahali tu tunaelea. Tupatie direction, tujue tunaenda direction gani? Ama hamtaki Muturi atupatie direction?
Muturi has welcomed the move to form the region's political wheel, but insists that all the gamer communities must be involved in charting the way forward for the region. Governor Kiraitu Murungi confirming that the party will be ready before the end of the year.
Niliwekwa kwa 4 committees of parliament. No MP alipata committee 4 ya parliament nikiwa kwa basi. Sasa niko kwa Jubilee, nina bahati niko na 2 peke yake. So mnaona what is the advantage of having your own party? Although the Political Parties Act says we cannot revive the bus in that name, but we can do something else.
Still have 1 year, maybe as we go into Christmas, this will be clearer for us.
Tukiketi pamoja, tushauriane pamoja, tuone tunataka nini sisi. I'm alive to the various proposals that have come through, and as a region, we should try as much as possible to bring everybody on board.
However, Muturi's political ambitions to succeed Kenyatta could be met with a lot of resistance from the Kikuyu elders, despite the elders insisting that their choice to pick Muturi as spokesman was unanimously agreed upon by the Gema elders.
Lakini kila mtu anajua Justin Muturi pia ni mwanasiasa na kulikuwa wakati alikuwa mjumbe. Kwa hivyo kama Muturi ako na mambo yake ya kisiasa, ataendesha na wanasiasa, lakini sina wazee.
Musa Salah, TV 47.
And well, on that very note, our Speaker equally hinted at his, possible interest that is on that top political seat. Certainly a developing story. We get to see what reactions then will come thereafter. Away from it, the nationwide curfew has been extended for a further 60 days, according to a Gazette notice released by Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, who says curfew hours will continue to be observed from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., as Andreen Kilemi tells us.
In a special Gazette notice dated May 28th, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has announced the extension of nationwide curfew by a further 60 days. The move directs that all Kenyans shall remain indoors from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. until the 27th of July unless stated otherwise. The government further announced the suspension of public gatherings, processions and movements during the curfew period. Those seeking to hold gatherings will be required to have a written authorization from the Chief of Police in a county, division or subdivision. The orders are, however, in exception of essential service providers, who include medical professionals and health workers, national security officers, licensed pharmaceuticals, licensed broadcasters, among other essential service providers. The move, according to Interior CS, has been necessitated by the spread of COVID-19 in the country. 162 people have tested positive for coronavirus out of a sample size of 3,452 tested in the last 24 hours. This bringing the total number of infections to 170,647. 643 people have recovered from the virus in the last 24 hours, with 406 of them from the home-based isolation, while 237 are from various health facilities countrywide. Andreen Kilemi, TV 47.
Thank you, Andreen, for that. And as we're trying to fix the machines, we'll be having Mheshimiwa Kassim Tandaza, who will join us via, virtually. Well, not really virtually, because he's in our Mombasa studios. And as we try and fix that, let's loop in Dr. David Nyekorach Matsanga, the chairperson of Pan-African Forum, to probably help me go through the papers briefly before we get into the conversation. Remember, we are discussing... yes, we are going to discuss the politics of development. But importantly, we also look at BBI, its fate, President Uhuru Kenyatta exhibiting confidence that reggae is on, and same applies to his handshake counterpart or partner, Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Well, something that is contrary to probably what it is that the dissenting voices would argue. And as we await what the Court of Appeal, or the Appellate Court, will deliberate on, we can only wait to see what plays out. I mean, the adjustments also happening in Parliament in regards to the same, well, that would likely probably create another leaf for the conversation of the amendment of the Constitution to still, of course, carry the day, is one thing that we look at. Daktari, good morning.
Good morning, Linda, and your viewers across the world and across Kenya. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you. Briefly, before we get a hold of Honorable Tandaza, I think I'd request of you to be part of me as we look at the papers. Just look at the key stories that have been captured on the papers, though a majority of the stories actually form the basis of our conversation this morning, well, the conversation on BBI. But before we even get to that, I think we take a moment of silence, in, of course, memory of Kibwezi, former member of parliament, that is Kalembe Ndile, the squatter's child who became member of parliament, a story captured on page 3 of the Daily Nation and across all the papers. I remember the last time I had him here, I think we also had you on set, and it was quite an interesting conversation. And so in memory of him, we take a moment of silence. Thank you. Daktari, what do you make of this? I mean, a moment to condole with the family of Kalembe Ndile, friends and the people of Kibwezi.
First of all, he was my friend, a very pragmatic politician, a truth teller, straightforward, hits where possible. He doesn't waffle. He doesn't change his mind once he has decided on something. He says it openly. And that is what some of us are. If you look at my political history, I've survived 6 decades on planet Earth because I speak the truth like other people do. It's better to die telling the truth than die telling lies. So we've lost someone in Kenyan politics who was telling the truth, who was always saying this cannot be. But unfortunately, God is the maker. God is the person who decides the timing, the place. That we leave it to God, who says, you have done your job, you've done it enough, maybe halfway, or you have fulfilled the desires that he wanted on earth. One day you must go back to the maker, or you must go through another transition, whatever he has prepared ahead. May his soul rest in peace.
Indeed, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Former member of parliament succumbed to pancreas and kidney failure, and well, I will be remembered for his humorous approach to issues, but most importantly, what Daktari says, that he was a truth speaker and would always say it as it is. Well, we'll be following up on, of course, the processes that are set for his, procedure of taking him to rest or an eternal rest, to make sure that you are updated. Disquiet in Ruto's camp as Madaraka Fate is hijacked. Deputy President William Ruto is set to attend this session, but then again, as they would say, he will not be part and parcel of the projects in the region. Just to take us back to the prayer day and maybe to this moment that again he's likely to meet his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta. The DP is well, of course, extended that hand, says that, what, how about we consider having a moment, having a chat, in terms of, dealing with this disquiet, which is something that President Uhuru Kenyatta did not quite respond to. What are your expectations, even as he also joins his boss and numerous other Kenyans in celebrating Madaraka Day, that is in Kisumu, Daktari?
Madaraka Day is an official day for the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
If he is on the program, he can attend, and he will attend. He's still the deputy president of Republic of Kenya by default.
Default?
Yeah, he's there. Yes.
Oh, yes, it's by default. Well, all right.
Yes, but he's a ghost worker.
Why do you say he is a ghost worker?
Oh my God, his duties are not, we don't see, his duties are now different from the duties that the Constitution said he should do.
It's not really clear, Daktari, on what he should do on the Constitution, and if there's anything he's supposed to do, it has to do with what it is that the president tells him to do. So, I mean, and you've had him, or at least his foot soldiers, saying that the president has not given him anything, and he has failed to, probably deliver. So why would you say that he's a ghost worker? Why would you blame him for not doing what he's supposed to do constitutionally, yet it is the president who's supposed to issue these duties to him?
So if the president has not given you duties, what are you doing in the office?
So you are expecting him, are you trying to tell him to resign?
No, I am saying any human being with conscience. That's why democracy in Europe grew. Any minister in Britain, if you have fallen out with your prime minister, you resign.
But have the two fallen out, honestly?
No, wait. I am explaining. You asked a question.
All right.
The marriage, it is only, maybe you are the only stranger in Jerusalem. who doesn't see that the marriage is no more.
Okay.
It's no more. It's no more. And you see, I speak like a Kalembe. Okay, what is his name?
Yes,
my
Kalembe.
native friend. I speak the truth. And one of the problems why Kenyans fear me or hate me is I speak the truth. They want to come on TV and say there is still marriage. It's not there. There is no marriage between the deputy president and the president. It is finished.
Polite reminder, Daktari, that the DP was elected alongside.
Madam Linda Alera, let's agree on that. The marriage is irreconcilable. The deputy president had a chance in parliament to come and lay bare and say, hello, I've created a party in your party. I have gone against you. Don't forget, I'm a peace negotiator. I am a negotiator for peace. I studied the subject and I did not study any other subject. Political science, conflict resolution, I am an expert. For you to finish a conflict, one party has to come and say, hello, I am sorry. But when you come with bravado in front of the president and tell him, now Tanga Tanga has closed and the reggae has been stopped, yet you are behind the scenes stopping reggae and the BBI. Hello? What you tell me? What relationship is there? What relationship? All of us saw how the president reacted when this man started talking about something. We know how he talks, but behind the scenes, we know how he does his work. Mine is to say the truth. It sets me free. Those who want me to say lies and please, I don't please anybody for any money. I have my own little money that I make from my sweat. Therefore, I stand and say that is the position.
Hold it, Daktari. Let's loop in Honorable Kassim Tandaza, who joins us live from our Coast studios. Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Morning, Linda. Morning. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm saying morning.
Oh, good morning. Now I can hear you. I'm good. It's been a minute. You've been well?
Very well, very well.
Well, good to have you. We're just, getting into the papers, and one of the key stories captured on page 5. The handshake anticlimax and all that we'll be discussing as we continue. But this one, where Deputy President William Ruto is expected to attend the celebrations of Madaraka. One, I do not understand why this finds itself on the front page of the papers. I do not understand why this is strange. I do not understand why people read so much into, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy meeting that is in the presence of Parliament, Senate in particular, to, of course, for the prayer day. And now this time around it becomes news. Yes, we understand very well that he's the deputy president of the country. Why should it be a big deal that he is attending these crucial celebrations, yet he is supposed to do so?
Well, Linda, I think let's go back to the law and the constitution. The deputy president, though, is normally elected together with the president on the same ballot. It is the president who assigns duties to the deputy president. And it does not say not assigning duties is a crime or how much duties he's supposed to be assigned to by the president. So to me, the deputy president is totally in order if he's not been assigned any duties. It is not even mandatory that he should be invited. Sometimes we have had cases where it said that he was not invited for the signature signing, the BBI was not invited. To me, it is not really against the law. It should not be really big news for as long as the president deems it fit, that he doesn't think that the deputy president should be with him or in a particular occasion. But I think what raises so many questions now and what people are asking, they are comparing the first, that was not a Jubilee government, the first TNA URP government, 2017, the way they were operating and how they're operating now. I think that is why people are actually raising eyebrows and asking questions. How come in the first 5 years, they were paired, they were always there, and now they are no longer there? That is what people are questioning. Otherwise, whatever is happening is totally within the law. If he is invited and if he attends any other national function like Madaraka Day, it doesn't matter. Remember, Kenya is one. I think sometimes we have so much in terms of perception that probably one cannot visit a particular area, given that this one now is in Kisumu, where one would call, if Kibera was Baba's strong bedroom, I don't know what this one would be. Maybe, I can't imagine what would be, maybe an inner room, the strongest room of Baba. And Kenya being one, anybody can attend. I believe there would be no problem if Baba attends a function in Sugoi, where the deputy president comes in. It will still be in order. But I think the problem, the situation we are finding ourselves in is when we now couple on the matters of BBI, where the president seems to be reading from a particular script and the deputy now is reading from a different script. And to me, it is still democratic, you know. On matters of national importance, anybody can hold a particular view. But when it comes to the presidency now, it is assumed that they should be talking on the same voice, on the same script, given that they were elected as one and they are working for the same government. So a point reaches where actually there is a disconnect, Linda, in terms of the current workings of the president and the deputy president. Otherwise, democratically, me, given that I'm one of those people who always advocate for democratic space, I think it will still be in order for anybody to view his or her concerns on particular matters, especially on the matters BBI, where it's not yet law. The moment it becomes law, then it has to be followed, whether you liked it or not. But for a matter which is not yet law, then the more views we get from different angles, I believe, the better we tend to enhance the quality of that document.
Briefly, before I loop in Daktari, it appears too hot for Deputy President William Ruto and his allies. And Dr. Matsanga is of the view that, well, if it is too hot, then why not step out? If he is to make that move, what happens to the people of Kenya who voted him alongside President Uhuru Kenyatta? Will that be unfair to them? I'm not able to hear Mheshimiwa. All right, in that case then,
you are getting back.
Yes.
Were you getting back to me, Linda?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Now, to me, as I had initially said, there is a point where probably the deputy president can resign. And I think this is more or less like the same reasons where even the president can move out of office on matters integrity, on matters being unable to perform his duties. But remember, Linda, we've been very specific, and I think this is where Dr. Matsanga should be able to get it clear. It is stipulated in law that the functions of the deputy president will basically be coming from the president in terms of assigning on what to do and not what to do. And while I'm not the deputy president's advocate, and he has said it himself, and unless Dr. Matsanga has something to the contrary, that he has never been assigned any duty by the president and failed to do it. So for as long as he has not, remember, in fact, we have a very interesting scenario in one of the counties where we have a governor with a deputy who stays in US. And I think that has remained that way for quite some time, for as long as I can remember. He was just sworn in. He used to stay in US, came, sworn in, and went back to US. For as long as the governor is not complaining that he's not performing the duties he has assigned him, I think he has remained in payroll, and nobody has actually gone to court to the extent of having him removed. So, to me, I don't think we've reached that point yet where we say he has to resign because of not attending functions where his boss has not assigned him. And if the boss had assigned him to some function and he actually cannot perform, then it is his boss now to take action against him within the law. But as it stands now, I think everybody is within the law, and he can attend any function where he is invited or where he thinks he deems it fit. But mainly, Dr. Matsanga, you should know that the deputy, as the current constitutional law stands, is that he will only perform duties assigned to him. Anything not assigned to him, well, he cannot be held liable. But I think, as I said earlier, the issue is how they performed in the first 5 years and how they are performing now. Remember, we cannot ignore the issue of succession politics going towards 2022. And I think that's where now I think everybody is trying to find his space, is trying to differentiate himself. Okay. And I think to that extent, the deputy president has been running on that card very well.
And well, to close on that one, Dr. Matsanga, there's not been so much of complaint from his boss that he's probably not delivered on the assignments that he's given to him. And if such is the case, or were to be the case, then why does it have to, take him to take the action as opposed to his boss triggering, that move that is constitutional of rooting him out? After all, he has the numbers in Parliament.
Thank you very much, Linda. And my good friend, Honorable Kassim Tandaza. You see, Kassim, I like you so much, and at times I feel embarrassed on coming straight on with you, because we are always good buddies on the question of BBI and other aspects. But today let me come down deep and say it to you as a friend. You see, I am not saying the deputy president should resign. No. I am saying from facts, and I'm saying from what you have been reading, and from the newspaper, which Linda has just paraded in front of us, that there are complaints and disquiet. I am not the editor of Daily Nation, Tandaza. I am not. That there is disquiet in DP Ruto's camp. Why is there disquiet? Because he is not involved in the arrangements of Madaraka Day in Kisumu. That's one point. Secondly, I am a friend of Jubilee Party. And the Tandaza is not a Jubilee Party. Therefore, you have a right to speak the way you want, but I am a friend of Jubilee Party, of both the president and the deputy. Mr. Tandaza, you know my role from 2008. I struggled for the two to come out of the shackles of a fake investigation, a fake case that had been brought before the International Criminal Court. Therefore, when I was doing that, I was standing alone. You know it, you know the history. Very many people wanted me to be taken down to Indian Ocean where you are now. I would have gone, but I was careful. So let me come to the point. As a friend, and I'm not a spokesman of President Uhuru Kenyatta, when I come to this national TV, please, there is a spokeswoman called Kanze Dena. Don't ask me questions about the president. Ask me questions about the subject that I read at school, political science and international relations up to the last iota. And I will tell you, if I were the one in the position of the president, Honorable Kassim Kinuthia, I would have said, if I'm doing nothing in the office, I'm earning a salary for no job, then why do I earn Kenya's salary when I'm not being assigned the duties? Are you not the same MP on that committee that scrutinizes how government salary is paid? Are you not? Tell me, when you come back to your committee, you will ask, why is this money going to the office? The office which is not doing its functions. You will do that, Honorable Kassim. So let's be honest to each other. And one of the things, my last friend, Honorable Kassim, is this. In Africa, we tend to change a lot of goalposts. Today we are here, tomorrow we are there. Today we are on BBI, tomorrow we are trying to find another route with filling our members of parliament on the committee to find a route. Let me, I want now, from the bottom of my heart, as a man who said redemption strategy, and I authoritatively tell you in the world, that the handshake will remain strong, and will remain strong. If you can see the body language of the two, the handshake is strong.
Is it then, Dr. before we close on that, would it then be misplaced, what the argument of the people of Tanga have that, it's the handshake that brought the disquiet that we witnessed in Jubilee County, in one word? In Jubilee Party, sorry.
Linda, the president told us in Bomas that should I say it now here?
Hold it. Say it after this break.
I said don't say. Because he took part in the consultation.
Dr. Matsanga, allow me to take a quick break and then we come back on that very note so that you can tell us whether, well, this holds water or not.
Next in a crowded, confused and uncertain career market after CAS. We know more. TV47, the youth-targeted TV station across the 47 counties, brings you an entire month of career options and choice opportunities across all the leading universities and TVET institutions. We have put together a rich group of experts who will guide you through your career aspirations throughout the month of May. This will climax with a virtual career fair scheduled for the 12th of May at the Auditorium. Invited to reserve a seat via david.katiku@tv47.co.ke or careersfair@tv47.co.ke on 0791 999 883.
New made with growth with new Blue Band peanut butter.
Hey, now that's when life gets boring, we bring out our is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and laugh. It's in the way we walk, the way we rock, and how we just don't stop. You feel me? We add color to everything, to every day and every dish. Because we're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color moment.
Raukia siku
State of the Nation on Morning Cafe, still with me, Dr. David Matsanga, Honorable Kassim Sawa of Matuga, that is the Matuga Member of Parliament. And Dr. briefly as we close on this one, and on that very point that you were expounding on was to what happened in Bomas. And the biggest question then would be, would it be misplaced for the Tanga side to argue that it is the handshake that scuttled the peace in Jubilee Party? Dr. Matsanga.
Yeah.
Would it be misplaced for the Tanga side to argue that it's the handshake that scuttled the peace in Jubilee Party, the very handshake that you praise?
Let me be very honest. Honorable Kassim knows my stand. We have talked about the handshake and the BBI elsewhere on other television stations. My stand is very clear. The handshake is the only route. BBI is the only route that Kenya can have stability, long-lasting peace. It might have smaller things that you people, during implementation, you can take out. And let the Kenyans hear me. Countries in Africa collapse because of fragmentation of a state begins with this type of tribal kingship, pins, calling themselves chief or Obasanjo, chief, Babangida, chief, this one, and the state collapses. Be careful about this type of route that we want to take. Kenya at the moment cannot do an election. If it does an election with the way, the format of the 2017, there will be bloodshed. There will be, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There will be, people will fight, they will burn buildings, they will demonstrate. The best way, and let me be honest on record, it is not me, it is President Uhuru Kenyatta in Bomas who stood on the microphone and said everything he did on handshake. He was consulting this man, his deputy here. Can I say it here on the microphone? That's what the president said. Then the deputy president stood from his chair and went to the microphone. Were you not seeing? To say, please don't say this. The president went ahead to say, he even brought names for me to put on the BBI committee. It is not Matsanga. So let me not be the subject that I am imagining words from heaven. The truth is this. There is no disquiet as far as BBI handshake is concerned. The handshake is tunasimama. What is the Kiswahili word meaning? Kidete.
Well, they said so yesterday. The two gentlemen used to.
And let me tell Kassim, kidete. Kama unataka board kidete.
Well, let's allow Kassim come in. And Honorable Kassim.
Hao wawili Kassim walisema, Kenyatta alisema tutasimama kidete. Raila Odinga anasema tutasimama kidete. Did I tell them the language?
Let's allow Honorable Kassim respond, Daktari. Let's allow Honorable Kassim to respond. And just picking it up from where Daktari leaves, Honorable Kassim, that statement that, you know, in the state that we are in right now, if we are to go for an election, then it's going to be trouble. One, what do you make of it? And therefore, listening to such, what are we supposed to do as a country to avoid the same?
Well, before I go to that, I would want to pick maybe one or two lines on the Tanga side about the apparent dissatisfaction between the president and his deputy. They could feel so, but I think they're missing a very bigger picture of the whole issue. Remember, Linda, we were having this Black Monday, the Smoky Monday.
Yes.
Would we have that continued for the next 3-4 years until the next election? Certainly not. Even the Tanga for sure. Certainly not. Nobody liked that. And if the handshake brought an end to that, honestly, I think that would be the biggest gain. Whatever, despite the dysfunctionalities that we are talking about, a political party. Remember, Jubilee is a political party, and yet we are having a whole country to actually live in, which is our country to live in. So on that point alone, I think the Tanga are totally off the mark, considering the peace that the handshake brought, which everybody is enjoying, including themselves, everywhere in the country. To me, that is the bigger picture. The problem with the handshake, which actually appeared after that, is when it appeared to be some sort of engineering of the 2022 succession politics, where it appeared to be favoring probably one person against any other Kenyan who wanted to go for the presidency. Remember, even us in ANC and my party leader, initially we kept on saying, can this be open to everybody to know? Because this is a Kenyan document and everybody should be able to know what is happening and contribute. But initially it was like a two-man show, so to speak, not even about government to government. That's where the problem is. But going forward, for sure, we will not want to have a repeat of the cyclic previous happenings since multi-party came in, because these issues did not just start with the current government, that is between His Excellency Uhuru and the Deputy President. It started with the advent of multi-party. It started way back in 1992 when we had the Likoni clashes. We had never had clashes before. And Likoni clashes were nicknamed so, but essentially the clashes were in Kwale County, in my constituency in Matuga, and people suffered. And it has been there since 1992, after every general election. Surely, do we need that to continue? So whatever the formula that there can be, we cannot afford to have some civil disobedience or some clashes after every general election. Remember, what is now ailing the country as we await the 2022 is the state of the economy. And how did we get there? You can remember from 2007, where the economy was, up to where we are. It's basically about the issue of clashes, and after every election, we don't enjoy peace. Investors can't invest in long term because they can only invest within probably the first 3 years, and even the first 3 years, the first 1 year. Remember, even in this, the last election. So, for sure, I'm also worried, as Dr. Matsanga says, that it is only it's only a madman who will do the same things over and over again and expect a different results. So if from 1992 we've been doing things the same way, we used to have ACK, now IBC, but even with IBC, the violence still comes propping up. We definitely need to change our tactic. We definitely need to relook at which other process we can actually use to go over this. I'm not saying because the elephant in the house basically is about the expansion of the executive. It might not be a solution 100%, but to me, it might be a solution for as long as it will be now a different approach as we do the 2022 elections. As we are speaking now, as parliamentarians, I'm also alive to the fact that there are some aspects of the BBI which are to be brought to Parliament. Fair enough. But to me, my main worry would be the peace, how we are going to handle the general election 2022. And I'm of the opinion that the expanded executive, though certainly it will benefit particular individuals or particular regions, most likely not favoring us from cost or me as a member of parliament or another from cost. But if we gain peace out of that, to me, that is all what I would long for. The other matters on BBI, yes, they're important, but to me, peace comes first in this country. And I think that is what should be worrying everybody. And I don't think Dr. Matsanga is really predicting in a way that he would want bloodshed to happen. But it is in everybody's leaders' aspirations that this time along, we have an election peacefully, people vote, whoever wins, let him win, go home. But if we use the same route that we've been using, that is where I'm also worried that we might go back to our usual bad ways of disrupting everything after every general election.
And certainly Cheriot John probably acknowledges that. He says there can never be peace at the expense of others. If it is a question of uniting the country, then let them, the two individuals, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta and Right Honorable Raila Odinga, equally find mechanisms of incorporating the DP, because like it or not, the man equally has some good support from the people. And well, as you react to that or respond to that, Honorable Dr. Matsanga, President Uhuru Kenyatta is adamant that BBI is on, reggae is on. At this point, when we're having these conversations at the level of the appellate court or the Court of Appeal, what do you make of that statement? Why the confidence?
First, the BBI proponents like me and Tadaza, we shall go up to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yes. We don't, look, this shortcut of Duale. Who is Duale? Duale is Ruto. Who is he? Duale is the other mouth. You know, if you look at Duale, is Ruto. He's my student. He's one of the students I used to coach on political science here in the Intercontinental Hotel. So I will tell him off. He's Ruto. Why does he now come up to shout? Why did you wait all along? If Deputy President Tanga Group, look at the committee that has been formed. Look at it. All full of Tanga MPs.
But aren't the issues that they raised really?
I'm going. Please,
okay.
Linda, I am. You know, for me, I tell the truth. If you want me to hide the truth, let me go offline. I am telling you that the BBI will go up to the Supreme Court. You can go to hell. You can go to Angel Gabriel, and ask where it will end. Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are not, if the appeal court does not turn this thing, turn it off, if they don't overturn the decision of the court that erred in so many ways, we are on up to the Supreme Court. This other showdown, why is it so? A popular initiative, you cannot stop a popular initiative on the way. Then you have stopped Kenyans from breathing. If you stop 4 million signatures and stop them, then you have stopped Tandaza from traveling from Mombasa up to Nairobi. Because he took part in the popular initiative. He wants his constitution changed. A constitution is not a stone. It is not 10 commandments. It is dynamic. Therefore, I am telling you, Linda, there is no stop anywhere. If the appeal court says this, we, the people proponents, me who wants peace in Kenya so that Uganda can survive, up to Supreme Court tunakuja.
These issues were raised, Doctor.
All the way. You know what? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Linda and Tandaza, I'm not a Kenyan. And neither do I want to buy an ID to become a Kenyan at the moment. Mm-hmm. If I were a Kenyan, I would have already gone for a legal political bypass. I would have finished them like I finished ICC. Everything will come to a stop, and Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga would win. I know the loopholes. What we are not doing is a political, legal bypass. The court was active with activism. Let's also bring in politics with activism.
The courts raised valid points. Dr. Let's allow Tandaza react on the same.
Let me finish this point, Linda. Don't bring me Duale what. That is, nobody wants it. In fact, Dwale can hang to the tree.
Hold it, Daktari, hold it. You know, in as much as you say...
The president, Raila Odinga, they don't want Dwale's proposal.
Valid points within these proposals. Daktari, let's allow Tandaza react to the same. Valid points within these proposals, valid concerns raised even before it got to the level where the courts quashed the process, or at least halted the process as it now. Why is it so hard to look into some of these valid points that are being raised to avoid a scenario where the proponents have to go all the way to the Supreme Court, Tandaza?
Well, remember, Linda, in the BBI, there are proposals which definitely need a referendum. They cannot be handled in Parliament. And they are fundamental proposals. As I had initially said, the issue of the expanded executive, the issue of the minimum 35% going to the counties. This is in the Constitution, and you cannot change it through a parliamentary process. There are things that are fundamental. Now, as I had initially said, the problem is that while I would accept the document, the BBI proposals, either those good proposals through parliament or through the referendum, the issue is about the 22 succession politics. Linda, if we can just get the problem of the BBI now, I don't think it's much of what is contained in there. And I really am one of those people who really subscribe to the independence of the judiciary. I will not fault their decision, but certainly I don't agree with it, because from where I sit, a popular initiative ends at a referendum. If there are bad proposals, it should be voted down. If the majority feel the proposals are good, then it passes. That is where that's the position that I always hold. So for whatever happens now, whether the appellate courts overturns the decision of the High Court or not, whether the Constitution, the Supreme Court will actually overturn or not, I think to me we are missing a very big opportunity to probably bring peace to our country. My position is very clear. We cannot keep on doing the same things over and over again and expecting a difference. We need somehow to change a few things. We might not be right 100%, but certainly when there is change, there is hope that you are going to get a different result. So for this matter, Linda, I'm of the view that the appellant court now addresses itself to actually that ordinary mwananchi who will have the final say. The processes could be flawed, there could be some commas missing, there could be different drafts missing, but for as long as the fundamental issues still remain the same, if it's the number of constituents 70, if it's the percentage to go to the counties 35, if it is the expanded executive, it is the same. If it is matters of equalization, National Land Commission and whatever, they are there. To me, that is what the ordinary mwananchi would be voting for or against. The issue of now individualizing it, that is the problem. And I've said this before, that when it appeared that it was only between His Excellency and the Right Honorable, of course, some leaders had problems, including me. You know, when you are leading, and you know, we were asked even before the document was out whether you support BBI or not. Now, how do I expect me to pronounce myself support or against if I don't know what is actually contained in there? And for as long, my position about the Deputy President's position and BBI, the law states clearly that he is assigned duties by the President. So even if he was not involved, for as long as the President, who is his boss, deemed it fit to do things that way, I don't think as per his office, he would actually say that he was not consulted, because there is nowhere, not in law, not in the Constitution, not in regulations, that a president and his deputy must consult. Remember, even when there was something closer to that in the grand coalition between the president and the prime minister, still there were problems, but still Kenya had to go on. So, but for this matter of president and deputy, both at the presidential level and even at the county level, there is no such pronouncement that he has to be consulted. But Of course, as a Kenyan, he had to get worried just like any other person because he lives in this country. But to me, my appeal to both the proponents and those against this document, we should look at Kenya in terms of matters peace. If we can address ourselves, we can redirect our energies that 2022, the general election is less than 14 months now, and we will not want to have a repeat of what has been happening, then I think even the judges themselves, given that they are Kenyans, and I'm sure even when there is chaos, they don't enjoy their peace. They don't enjoy in their homes, there is no peace. If country is burning, the country is burning, even them, they're in this country. I think that is where we should be in. Otherwise, to me, we are missing a very important opportunity in this era, and I'm hopeful, either at the appellant court or whichever way, let's have these changes done for the betterment of this country, Linda.
All right, as we come to that visit of President Uhuru Kenyatta in Nyanza, or at the Nyanza side of the country, briefly, Dr. Matsanga, Jubilee Party is dead. The likes of Kipchumba Murkomen, speak and say that by August 2022, we shall have returned the name Jubilee to its rightful owners in the insurance business. Why worry so hard? Yet, after all, the UDA or UDA, or URP, so to speak, will be out after all, as they would say.
You see? Exactly. That's what I've been telling you, Linda. And I agree with the Honorable Kassim Tadaza. My brother, the nation is bigger. Ask me, who has come from a background of conflict. Ask me, I will tell you, who has come out from the background of war. Ask me, who has lived 36 years because of the conflicts that changed after 10 governments in my country were overthrown in a bloody coup or bloody coups. Ask me, who has suffered on the streets of the capitals of Europe, America, and elsewhere. I will tell you, I wouldn't like to see a conflict. And that's why I came in, I saw about a conflict to erupt in Kenya in 2008. It has been erupting all the way from 1992. This is the time, and I agree with Kassim 100%. You cannot be hearing election day and you prepare your machetes, your pangas, your arrows, your guns. Yet you are a very good nation. You are building very good roads, infrastructure. For who? For people to enjoy. Therefore, any leader, any president of Republic of Kenya would do what Kenyatta is doing to make sure that the rest of this time he's left with. Forget about Murkomen. Murkomen was one of the people who wrote evidence to fix people. I have not mentioned them, and I don't want your television to be used as a mentioning ground. I will withhold that in my heart. I have his document in my custody.
Okay.
When he wrote about the same Ruto he is supporting. And that the only thing to finish this shame, have you ever seen Murkomen talk about Matsanga? I can throw this document out for people to read what he wrote.
But such is politics. Such is politics, Dr.
I have a
today,
lot of evidence on people.
Such is politics.
Listen, I have a lot of evidence on people who are today mushrooming as very good friends of Ruto. But we don't want to go that way. So Murkomen, to talk about Jubilee Party, that Jubilee Party is in Senate on which party?
Jubilee
Can I ask
Party.
also? He's in the Senate on which party? He's on Jubilee Party. He's earning allowances on Jubilee Party. So if he wants to say Jubilee will be nothing, it is his conscience. But if I were the one, I would not even insult the party that is earning me mileage, that is earning me money to feed my family. So I would just keep quiet. But the whole essence here is this, Linda. In summary, the essence here is this. people, why there is bad blood, and I told you that the marriage is gone, and I agree with that answer, Kassim, Honorable Kassim, that there is no way in the Constitution which says the president should consult the deputy. No, it is a matter of courtesy that the president can decide to tell you, oh, my brother, tomorrow you are going to Cairo to represent me. But if the president does not tell you to represent him, then what? You sit and wait.
Okay.
There is nowhere written in the Constitution that the president should be consulting the deputy when he's going to go to Harare or South Africa. But he will tell him, I'm leaving, and now I've handed over for you. Keep it until I come tomorrow.
And therefore, in the same breath, then the Deputy President William Ruto should not be considered a ghost worker, because after all, there is nowhere in the Constitution that says if he's not given these duties, then he should step aside.
No, I see.
Let's take a quick break, Dr.
As a sense of humor, a ghost worker.
All right.
Because the people are saying, who is saying that is a sense of humor? Okay. I am a political scientist, Linda. I use the humorous words that attract my crowd.
All right, then we take a short break. We take a short break on that humorous point.
Called me in Matuga, in Kwale, people will laugh on the platform. I was only saying his supporters, like Sudi and others, they say the deputy president has been given work.
All right, allow us to take a short break on that very humorous point, and we come back, look at the visit that is in Kisumu and the expectations on Madaraka Day, and generally what then plays out for the people of Luo Nyanza.
In a crowded, confused and uncertain career market after KCSE? Worry no more. TV47, the fastest growing youth-targeted TV station across the 47 counties, brings you an entire month of career options and choice opportunities across all the leading universities and TVET institutions. We have put together a rich group of experts who will guide you through your career aspirations throughout the month of May. This will climax with a virtual career fair scheduled for the 28th of May at the University of Nairobi Auditorium. All relevant stakeholders are invited to reserve a seat via david.katiku@tv47.co.ke or careersfair@tv47.co.ke on 0791 999 883.
New Blue Band peanut butter. Made with 100% pure peanuts and a good source of omega-6. Grow healthy and happy kids with New Blue Band peanut butter.
Hey, now that's hitting the right notes. When life gets boring, we bring out our play. You see, playfulness is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and laugh. It's in the way we walk, the way we rock, and how we just don't stop. You feel me? We add color to everything, to every day and every dish, because the world needs our crazy. We're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color every moment.
Tunuki.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongee zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali. Tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Enda Jubilee nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *444 hash utunukiwe Credo double.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku.
Honorable Member of Parliament of Matsanga, Kassim is with us this morning, joining us from our Mombasa studios, and via Skype is Dr. David Matsanga, the chair for Pan-African, Forum, and therefore we are here discussing the state of the nation, the politics of the day, and now we shift gears to looking at what is likely to be realized upon the visit of President Uhuru Kenyatta, that is in Luo Nyanza, but most importantly, the expectations for tomorrow's celebrations, that is the Madaraka Day celebrations. What do we have to show years down the line? Do we certainly, feel proud as a people that we have made strides in comparison to the very celebrations when it was the senior Kenyatta, and today when we have the Junior Kenyatta, that is at the top of the helm? The biggest question is, have we made changes? Are we still grappling with the same troubles that were there back then? And looping you in, Honorable Kassim Sawa, will President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit to Luo Nyanza realize any tangible economic gains? Well, for the people of this particular region, remember, it's not new things that he goes to address. These are the problems that have been there years to come. And therefore, there's that fear that, well, we've constantly seen politicians doing the same, promising the same in vain.
Well, Linda, I'm happy for the people of Nyanza region, and I would want to be quoted on this. And I think they are reaping big in matters of the handshake, so to speak. If the number of projects which are lined up for them, the number of mega projects which are to be commissioned by His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, as initially indicated from the briefings, then I should be happy for them. But I think also that is where the problem lies, that when it comes to sharing of the national cake, when it comes to distribution of the national resources which belong to everybody, since independence, they have always followed whoever is in power and whoever is closer to that power. And I think that is where the problem is. Thank God we have devolution, and to me that is why I'm very strong on matters strengthening devolution, because since independence we have seen this kind of skewed development over and over some regions. Certainly you can name those regions which have most government projects which have benefited most. Central, the president has been there. Rift Valley, the president is there. And now come the issues of the handshake, and even before the handshake, of course, the prime minister used to come from that region. And to me, that is a problem, because where do we again put other people who might not be so close to the heartbeat, the seat of this country? How much I wish that come December, when there was the national holiday, he'll be coming to Coast and probably commissioning the expansion of Ukunda to the status of an airport now, Diani Airport, given that basically the coastal region survives on tourism, and tourism is basically in Kwale County, of course, the coastal counties. How much I wish by the time he comes back to Coast, he'll be commissioning Malindi Airport. We've been talking about the expansion of Malindi Airport, where we'll be getting direct flights, big aircrafts from Europe directly to Malindi. How much I wish that can also be done. Diani Airstrip, I'm hoping by the time he comes to Coast, he'll be commissioning the southern bypass, the Dongokundu, because that will be a game changer in terms of the economy of South Coast. But my worry is, for as long as And sometimes I keep blaming ourselves as leaders from costs, because we sometimes have, if you can't beat them, you join them. For as long as none of us is closer to the powers that be, then in Kiswahili unasema tunasikia harufu tu, lakini kula hatuli. We just read in other regions that there are billions and billions being put there, and we know how they've gone there. But us leaders from coast don't seem to learn and actually organize ourselves and see how we can benefit. But since the constitution, all the same, is very clear that national resources should be shared equally, I think this is a point where even the existing leadership, the executive, that is His Excellency Uhuru, and even with the former deputy prime minister now, the core partner in the handshake, they should actually see that going forward, for this Kenya to coexist, for everybody to feel a Kenyan, they have just probably out of their own conscience now, because already the law is very clear on what is to be done, but now that it's not being done, out of their own conscience, that to think actually to actually distribute these resources equitably all over the country. Otherwise, well, walijipanga na wanaendelea kujipanga. Sisi naona tutangoja tupangwe, tutasikia harufu wenyewe watakula biriani yao. But how long is that going to continue?
But now that's the biggest question.
The conscience of the leadership, it will take the conscience of the other areas which feel marginalized to also organize them. More so that you are approaching 2022. If we continue being left out or leaving ourselves out, then actually we will also expect the same problems to continue, and that's why I'm an advocate of at least getting different ways of approaching a particular problem and hoping to get a different results.
Dr. Matsanga, valid points raised there by Honorable Kassim. Why should people wait till the president comes to their region for them to get goodies, or wait until if it's in a county, then until your MCAs and good books with the governor? I'm sorry, you might not be lucky enough as a ward to probably enjoy anything or the fruits of devolution. I do not want to believe that that's what the Constitution stipulates. If it is about the question of development, then it should be felt across, not necessarily pushed by the government or the president.
Yes, I think Kassim is my good friend, and it is very difficult to now fight a good friend like a Kassim. I don't want to fight so many ways.
Ideologically fine.
He has a valid point.
Yes.
The point here is this: the president is going about in all regions. The other day he was in Lamu. The other day he was in Mombasa. Kassim, where you are in Mombasa right now, if you go in Mombasa, give it 6 months from now, or by 2022 early. If those roads in Mombasa are done, everything is done, Kassim, one would like to fly or drive and be around that city. Look at the infrastructure that Uhuru has touched, areas which in 1884, when the colonizers demarcated Kenya as their territory, some of the trees have never been planted out. He has tried to plant them out to put something, a very good road going through the city, all the way cutting up to the airport, joining us to a railway. You disappear to where you want to go. Uhuru's record of development on infrastructure cannot be doubted. If he had peace within his party, President Uhuru would deliver more. If Ruto and Uhuru were united and they worked together without one being so ambitious, big, very ambitious for power, things would have been better for Kenyans. But I agree with Tadaza Mheshimiwa, that things have not been all sorted. Also, we have corruption in the counties, plenty of corruption, the state of corruption. You cannot. The other day, the deputy was in the coast, you know, inaugurating his blueprint of bottom up, a blueprint. How do you inaugurate more confusion to already confused state of corruption? I thought if I were a candidate for 2022, what would I do? I would first tell the people of Kenya how I am going to fight corruption. Because Linda and Tandaza and the viewers, Kenya is not poor. Kenyans are poor because the money is corruptly taken. Kenyans are not poor. If all this money was put in projects, Honorable Mheshimiwa Tandaza would not be crying of marginalization. But everywhere corruption, governors corruption, MCAs corruption, members of parliament corruption. There is corruption everywhere. Executive, there is corruption. Every prostato, there is corruption. So any candidate for 2022 to save Wanjiku, to save Wotieno, to save Wafula, to save Tandaza, let him fight. Tell us how Kenya's money will not be stolen again. That candidate will sail through Wafula, Tandaza, and the rest with a good IEBC that does not waffle like the one of Chebukati. If we have that one, the candidate will pass. But if you go and bring another blueprint, which blueprint? Who eats the blueprint? They tell me who eats Tandaza. They were in Kilifi County. Have you eaten the blueprint?
Dr. Matsanga, on that note, let's allow Honorable Tandaza react to the same. And when we speak about the aspect of accountability, Honorable Tandaza, there's that need or vain need for accountability, especially for the funds that were utilized in the construction of the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium that is at Mamboleo, Kisumu, that is in question right now. Well, there is a huge, of course, difference in relationship between the current state of the stadium and generally the money that was allocated or the funds that were allocated for the same. So then when we're talking accountability, are we speaking in both sides of the mouth?
Well, Linda, it's very unfortunate that, and I honestly entirely agree with Dr. Matsanga. Unfortunately, he left one segment out, that the general person, the general public is also corrupt. You know, he mentioned about MCAs, politicians, members of parliament, executive, but actually the disease of corruption has gone right up to the Wanjiku that you are talking about. But going back to the issue of the accountability and how funds, public funds, are normally utilized in this country, it is saddening, it is sickening. And remember here, we have agencies, government agencies, which are mandated by law with all the necessary tools to deal with such issues, right from inception, right from procurement. But you know very well, though we have the best procurement laws in this country, normally things start going wrong right from the time of procurement, where the one who normally wins the tender is not the most qualified, but the one who is most probably politically correct, depending on which side of the handshake he belongs to. That is where the problem is. And from there then, it is a roller coaster, because whoever is appointed to supervise that project might also not be the most qualified. you see. And even if he is qualified in terms of papers, there are other considerations that's been put there because he already knows what happened during the tendering process. He already knows the outside agreements, the gentleman's agreements, which are in operation, how much is to be taken back, how much is to be pocketed, and is being put there to protect, to make sure that that happens. It's not put there actually to look at the execution of that project. I'm an engineer, Linda, a civil engineer for that matter. That means I'm quite conversant in matters construction. But when it comes to our Kenyan situation, the actual engineer is actually misused. If our institution, the IK, was really to follow our guidelines in terms of how we are supposed to operate, basically everybody will be deregistered. But not because we cannot perform, it is the situation that you are put in. And remember, we are also, as I've said, we are Kenyans and we need to survive. So the problem here is, as I had initially started by saying, the agencies in terms of the DCI, the ESCC, of course, the courts. Even when it goes to the court, you realize people are taken charge. Those cases never end. They take for as long as somebody is still alive, and you know the moment you die, definitely that case cannot be transferred to the next of kin, so it dies there. And even when one is found culpable, the kind of fine, and I've been on air initially saying, I know even what happens. By the time somebody has stolen $1 billion and is fined $1 million, actually, I know it's not that he's been fined $1 million. It's because the other amount which he should have paid goes to someone's pocket. This is the reality, the sad reality in this country. So, for as long as, and I've said this and I'll continue saying it, for as long as the CEO of this country somehow does not put his foot down on matters corruption, because to me will not end corruption from bottom. It is not a bottom-up approach. Corruption can only be ended when you use the up-bottom. And we've seen this in other countries where, of course, it's not eliminated, but we can compare with our brothers and sisters here, neighbors in Tanzania. We don't see these things happening because the CEO of that country takes action. And a point reaches where, while I'm a stickler to the law, a point reaches where I say when it comes to matters corruption, I think the CEO would go a little further than what the law says. Remember, we know he enjoys immunity. He cannot be prosecuted for as long as he's still the president. And even if one was to initiate any proceedings and he has acted against matters on corruption, I'm sure the Kenyan public will be on his side. And that is what Kenyans want. So for this matter, the CEO of this country, I appeal to him. I suppose he has a way of getting what the ordinary Kenyans like us say. I appeal to him that he has all the powers. The Kenyans are on his side if he comes out to actually put his foot down to end this menace or to bring down this menace of corruption, because it is in all sectors. It is on all sectors, and it is so sad that we end up building the most expensive roads in the world, and yet we are not the best economy. We don't have that kind of money. We end up having very good designs, a very good blueprint, ending up with a totally different thing, but still it passes because whoever did it knows very well that he cannot be done anything. It's like him to do. We've seen this in all the other sectors, not only in construction. Where are the KEMSA culprits? When are they going to be brought to book? I've always said I'm waiting with the bated breath, but hoping that soon or later we'll not end up with the COVID vaccine billionaires again. I'm hoping that this time will not happen. But given our scenario where it is business as usual, it is bound to happen. But all the same, can also, even if there'll be corruption, can all the other parts also benefit in terms of those projects, even if there will not be so much value for money, but it is only fair that the distribution is felt across board.
Speaking of which, you raised a concern of money, and to be honest, Dr. Matsanga, the government is dead broke as it stands today. Well, we are struggling, even with the basics of paying salaries, of course, disbursing monies to the level of the counties. So people are skeptical about the president's visit, realizing any long-term benefits or tangible economic gains for the people of Luo Nyanza. What do you make of that? And how then do they strike a balance in a scenario where, all this is going to be realized, or the promises that they make, will be realized without having to strain the other sides of, government in terms of course, balancing the finances?
Linda, thank you very much, Honorable Tandaza. I had forgotten that all of us have become corrupt. Everybody corruption. I'm sorry, I wanted to leave it for you to fill the gap. But the truth here is, there is no country in the world which is not suffering from economic difficulties at the moment. Even Britain, which has money, excess money, has difficulties in stabilizing its economy because of the pandemic that came abruptly, halted most of the activities, economic activities came to a standstill. So every country in the world is going to suffer. And we should not punish Uhuru Kenyatta for the suffering which is international, universal. The only problem we have in Africa as Africans is we don't have a social contract that we fall back position. But big countries like China, Britain, America, they have social contract that they fall back to. Russia, they pay their people who are not working, people who are sick. If you are sick in London, you are paid an allowance called sick allowance. Yes, sickness allowance is paid in London while you are in bed. The government pays you for being sick, and you will be paid all your taxes. They will remove it. We haven't reached that status. We are on the 59 years, coming to 60 very soon. So we have a problem. And that is, sorry about that. I don't know whether I have. Am I still there?
Yes, you're there, Dr.
That is where we are. So when you say we are broke, it is not we are broke. President Uhuru Kenyatta borrowed to put in infrastructure. He did. And some of them, as Kassim has said, he's an engineer. Engineers also are very good people at increasing prices and the quotes and the quotations, tenders. It is the civil engineer who knows whether the building costs what.
Okay.
So it is true, any government that is coming in power in Kenya must deal with corruption. But I want to suggest one thing.
As we close, Dr.
As we close, yes. I want to suggest one thing for Kassim, Honorable Kassim Tandaza. Go to Parliament, change the law of give the president sweeping powers. Don't give these guys. You know what happens, Tandaza, Honorable? A man steals money on Friday. He flies his family on Tuesday to Seychelles to enjoy. He will be given bail, or girlfriends, or calicos, or honchos, or whatever. Call them. They are flown to Mauritius.
Dr. We need to close.
I am closing, but they are thrown. They steal money on Friday. They are taken to court on Monday. On Tuesday, they are given bail. They are gone to Mauritius. Tell me now, how will you solve? The President Kenyatta cannot put people on a firing squad. Honorable Tandaza, ndugu yangu mpenzi, Jeusa, what is it called, the law? Change the law.
All right, Daktari, thank you for that.
Change the law to catch the thieves. Asante sana.
Sylvester Kimemia says, yes, the county officials are letting the president down. Imagine county engineers on the roads until the president goes there and implement, yet we have offices with names tagged on the likes of county roads, engineers, and so much so. Honorable Tandaza, as we close on this one, what are your expectations for tomorrow's celebrations?
Well, this is a national celebration. I would also want to commend His Excellency the President for devolving the national events. This is something that somehow and for some good reason it brings in inclusivity, and I'm also happy that it's being done on that part of the country. But I'm also hoping that in his presidential address to the nation tomorrow, he'll really give us a way forward in terms of the economy, on how to revive this economy. I don't think we can afford to wait until 2022. He'll also give us a way forward in terms of the pandemic that we are facing, how we can revamp our economy amidst this pandemic, because it seems it's not going to end very soon, and actually people are suffering in the current situation. We know the economy is not in a position to give stipend to everybody who lost his job. So I think with his team as the executive, they should be able also to give us way forward on this issue. Otherwise, it is my sincere hope that amidst all these problems, we'll still hold together as a nation and coexist peacefully as Kenyans.
Honorable Kassim Tandaza Sawa, Member of Parliament Matuga, thank you so much for your insights. Dr. David Matsanga, Chair Pan-African Forum, asante sana for the great insight. We still had more, but then time would not allow us. We look forward to seeing what plays out tomorrow, and of course the projects that will be commissioned, that is in Kisumu County, and of what importance then it will be for the people of that county or the Nyanza region and the country at large. We now cross over to a different conversation altogether. Dr. Ignatius Kibe on standby as we cross over to Matters Health after this break.